SMMware, software for handling sales, project management, operations, and more for small to medium-sized businesses. Today we'll discuss sales-related functions in SMMware. Okay, let's begin. We'll start here on the home page and suppose that a sales call comes in. We will start a new sales lead. If this was an existing client, they would already appear in this drop-down. If they are new, we'll use the plus sign to start a new profile for them. We'll point out that the referred by fields have three, one for the category, one for the company, one for the person, so that later on in the referrals report we can slice and dice the information on a more granular level and ask various questions. There's also a date filter and others there that help you to really pin down where your business is coming from. If there was a client representative involved, they would appear in this list, and the relationship can be indicated here, whether it's an adult, child, or an attorney. Of course, we can set the other information here. Below that we have some custom fields. The labels are configurable, and these will have to do with them as a person, information that does not change if they were to, say, move from place to place. Here at the bottom we have a list of common addresses they might work with, and picking one of them will pre-fill the address. If this address is not one that you commonly work with, you can simply enter the information manually. Here we are back at the sales lead. The sales lead is a place to put all the information about this particular sales opportunity that is separate from the quote. We can indicate a lead salesperson. There are various status levels for the quote, from in progress, submitted, won, and declined, for instance. These are configurable. You can change the names and how many of them are and so on. The list of types of work is also configurable. Down below that we have fields where you can indicate the customer's decision date if they tell you something like that. When you submit a quote to them, you can indicate that information right here. And when you select the status of won, the date will be pre-filled for you here. The customer decisions date will generate a note down in the notes section below, which we'll examine shortly. And we'll also create a task that has a due date equal to the customer's decision date. So whatever date they told you, SMMware is going to remind you that it's time to follow up with them. If you put in a last submitted date, a task will be created with a due date 1 week down the line. So if they have not gotten back to you, SMMware will remind you that it's time to follow up. Below that we have some custom fields. These are also configurable. This information is specific to this sales opportunity, and it's the sort of thing that may change, for instance, if people are moving. At the very bottom we have another list of common addresses which you can use to pre-fill those fields, or you can again manually type something in if appropriate. Here we can see the first task that's been created for us automatically. The lead salesperson is going to have this reminder to follow up, to familiarize themselves with this particular opportunity if they're not already. And some notes that generate the history. If you take photos during the sales process, you can upload them here. This list of tags can be configured for each system. This auto rename button will avoid having to deal with the long cryptic file names that phones assign, so you can have something that's a little bit more conversational. Here you can write yourself a note. SMMware will also let you create the actual quote. And working with quotes within SMMware is a matter of mixing and matching the various building blocks that we provide. You can also create a quote and save it as a template so that you can get a jump start on the next time around. Eventually you will create templates that match different situations. Here's a block that inserts the customer's contact information. Here's a header block. These are all editable. This is simply the default that comes in from the template. The gray areas are the ones that are going to be pre-filled or calculated for you. But other than that, you can go around and make whatever changes you see fit. Here's some line items. A regular text block. This is a summary block. And lastly, a legal block. SMMware also allows you to have multiple quotes. So if somebody calls you back and wants a new version, you can use this field, which is not part of the quote, to indicate what the changes are. What you would typically do is we're starting on our first quote. We would copy that. And in the future, if you have multiple versions, you can trace back through the private notes in order to get a sense of the history of why those different versions exist. You can also view the quote as a PDF so you can see what the client would actually get. You can also email the quote to the client as an attached PDF. Clicking on the email button gives you a field where you can put in a quote. In the settings editor you can create a default, but then once it's here you can override that as you see fit. Back here on the main sales lead, we come down to the events section. And we can create an event, such as a sales meeting. And it's already noted which sales lead this is for. And you can insert the address. That will become a clickable link in the finished event. We can assign somebody to attend this meeting. Say it's going to be an hour and a half. For now we'll skip notifications, which otherwise would come via email and text messages. Here on the sales lead listing, we have a filter with a date range for the different sales lead status levels. You can filter it by client or by lead salesperson. There's also a sales report here that tells you the quantity of entries for a given status level, the dollar value, and the total number of hours. You can also see a table with those same status levels where it breaks it down by percentage for value, hours, and quantity. In this table you can sort it based on the client's name, the status board tag, the status level, the next due date. This particular column is useful if you are busy and you have multiple things to do on a given day. There's a score assigned here that is relative to various factors such as the overall value of the quote, how many events you've had for them, various things that indicate how likely this quote is to become a signed contract. Looking at the settings editor, this is the section 4 that includes sales. Here's where you can modify all the different status levels. These are the weights that go into the scoring. The scoring will mainly become useful when you are particularly busy. Down here is the default for emails when you're going to send a quote as an attached PDF to an email. Coming back to the home page, this is the status board for sales. You can see the various sales leads that are in the system right now, along with a note, which you can modify from here, and a status level tag. Your sales-related tasks will appear in this section called My Tasks. Another area that's of interest for sales is the clients that are willing to act as a reference. This is the list of people who have agreed to act as a reference. This is a list of clients where the job is done, but you have not yet asked them if they're willing to act as a reference. And by keeping this list down to the minimum, by clearing them out, that will keep this first list fresh. If a contact in the system refers business to you, and if you haven't spoken to them for a while, SMMware provides this list. And by keeping these dates recent, then you'll prevent a situation where that contact might be angry at you for some reason, and then they become more angry because you don't notice. And that sums up our various functions that help you with your sales process. To find out more, visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/SMMware for more videos about specific features of SMMware. You can visit our website at www.smware.com, or you can call us at 240-285-4619 with questions or to arrange a demo. We appreciate your time and hope to talk to you soon. Thank you.